If you've got a Peterbilt 389, 567, or 589, you've probably asked yourself at one point or another, are the JW Speaker 9600 heated headlights worth the premium price tag? Today, we're going to compare and let you decide. Hey, I'm Dustin from BTS Lighting. Today I've got a OEM Peterbilt 389 incandescent headlight. This is what comes factory in your 589s without the LED, 389, 567, or your 388. And this is the JW Speaker 9600. The first major heated headlight for the pod replacement. And they come in at a very premium price point. And the question guys ask, is it worth the money? Now, we know something about headlights at BTS Lighting. We've tested tons of the industry's most well-known Peterbilt 389 headlights and stacked them head-to-head against each other so you, the consumer, can make a decision based on your specific needs. We don't tell you one's better than the other. We give you the pros and cons and have written it out in a great blog post where you can decide which one fits your style. Are you running driving lights? Well, that might change which headlight you want to run. Are you after width? Or are you driving more in the city and want some center loaded intensity? It all matters based on which headlight you want to get and your driving style. But today we're talking specifically about these two headlights and how they stack up. Now the JW Speaker, I'm going to run you through the functions really quick. You've got this nice blade style running light, and then you've got your signal light. And before anybody asks, no, you cannot make it so the amber stays on all the time. You won't have a signal light. JW Speaker, if you're watching, an amber DRL version would absolutely kill it. Then you've got your low beam and your high beam. Now, some of you might have noticed that the low beam was the high beam in this headlight, and that's a major design feature of this headlight. This is a bi-LED projector, whereas your factory Peterbilt 389 style headlight had a factory low beam projector and then a factory reflector high beam. So you had four. This one, you've only got the two. The one headlight is your low beam, and the projector has a little shutter in there that opens up when you flip it to high beam to let more light out. It doesn't have a separate dedicated high beam. And that comes with its own downside that we'll get to in a minute. The majority of people, when they switch from an incandescent Peterbilt housing over to the JW Speaker, absolutely love the increase in intensity in the low beam. They absolutely love having a heated LED headlight. But the one thing that they don't like, and nobody has ever raved about, is the high beam. If you're buying the JW Speaker 9600, you're doing it for the low beam, which is where most of your white knuckle driving comes from. The high beam, being a shutter open design, gives more of a cloak of light. It's no brighter, it just shoots a little wider, a little further down the road. You don't notice that big of a drastic difference. Whereas the factory 389 housing actually has a good high beam from factory. And I want to give you some numbers to compare to make that make sense. The low beam on the factory incandescent headlight versus the low beam on the JW Speaker 9600, there's a 330% increase in intensity. That is a night and day difference. That's going from the PACCAR headlight that honestly, in my opinion, should have had a recall years ago due to the flawed design of the low beam, over to a properly well-designed modern JW Speaker low beam. But here's where the high beam comes in. The difference between the high beam on the incandescent and the JW Speaker high beam is only an increase of 24%. So you're not actually really any brighter. 24% is very negligible as far as headlights go, and you probably won't even notice. The only thing you will notice is you're used to having a high beam that is inherently brighter than the low beam, but due to the center weighted nature of this headlight and how much they put into the low beam, you don't really notice much of a difference in high beam. And a lot of guys do not like that. If you're gonna pair this with a good pair of auxiliary high beam SAE compliant driving lights, like the Dow Dynamics SS3 that we sell, for instance, this would be an absolute output monster combination. But fresh out of the box, your high beam is never gonna impress you no matter what. But like I said, when you're running through white knuckle driving scenarios, you're meeting a lot of oncoming traffic after a rainstorm, early morning, they've all got bright headlights. That's when you lose your visibility, is on your low beam. You have trouble seeing the road. You're in the middle of a heavy fog or snowstorm, low beam is what you're gonna be on, and that's where most of the problems come from. So going from the headlight with the industry's worst low beam to one of the industry's best low beams is a night and day difference. Now the JW Speaker 9600, to put specs to paper, this is coming in at over 26,000 candela on low beam and just over 50,000 candela on high beam. Now that's the actual measured light output at a specific point. So that would mimic the amount of light that's actually down the road. And those are good numbers. When you want to break this down to lumen, and we're not talking Amazon's made up lumen, we're talking effective actual lumens. The effective lumens on low beam are 600 roughly, and about 1,000 for your high beam. Very, very reputable numbers from a very reputable brand. Now you're gonna notice two harnesses sitting on the table. And the reason for that is when you buy the JW Speaker 9600 pods, they come just with the headlight. They don't include a harness because when these were first made, they were built for the Peterbilt 389. The 589 uses the same headlight, but has a different harness with an extra plug. So JW Speaker decided to make an extra harness, and now they're separate. So when you order it, you can choose either your 389 style or your 589 style, depending on if you have the daytime running light in the chrome trim in front of your fender. That's the difference.